Since the beginning of the Milwaukee Breast Cancer Awareness Program, nearly 15,000 women have had mammography screenings through the city's mobile van. Last November, the program added cervical cancer risk assessment. Now the program is changing again to include the whole woman.
We do this here and do blood pressures here and mammograms here, sort of departmentalizing the body, and now we want to put it in one piece and take a look at the services provided. And it's a continuum of care that we're looking to provide.
Starting in January, the Northwest Health Center at 76th and Mill Road will be home to the city's first Well Woman Center. These are the health services that will be offered to those women who qualify, generally those in the 40 to 64-year age range, who are uninsured or underinsured and meet income guidelines.
Well, we encourage them, first of all, to make an appointment. However, we do not discourage walk-ins. She will register, and then we will begin the assessment process.
The center will expand in 2 phases. Phase 1 activities will continue to focus on breast and cervical cancer screenings and add cardiovascular disease and diabetes assessment. That includes an educational component.
We will continue to do informational tapes on all of the screenings that we will be performing. A tape about 5 to 7 minutes long will be done on breast self-examination. This will give the client an opportunity to see just how you do this, and also an opportunity to discuss with the technologist or the nurse once she gets in to do the clinical breast exam. And of course, the next step to that is actually doing the mammogram. And the fortunate part that we have on the mobile unit is that we have a processor. It gives us difficulties sometimes because of the weather or the climate in Wisconsin, and because of the terrain is not always the same. But we have an opportunity to actually develop that film while the client is on the unit, so that she will know whether she will not have to return for additional films just because of taking a one that wasn't positioned correctly. Statistics has proven that women don't view heart attacks in the same sense that they do breast cancer. In fact, they fear it more than a heart attack. And of course, you know, many times over, more women die of heart disease, and it's because it's a personal part, and it feels invasive when it's not invasive. But it certainly is one way of detecting breast cancer early, so that the cure rate for the disease can be very high. If you've noticed, statistics has proven that more women are dying of heart disease. I mean, we have about 300,000 women dying of heart disease. So on that visit, we will be taking a blood pressure to make sure that it is within normal range. Depending on the age of the woman, the range differ, of course. We will do the blood pressure. We will also do the finger stick to determine whether, you know, the cholesterol levels. We will do the finger stick also for whether or not there is any sugar or diabetes present with the woman. We will want to teach the patient, or at least start them on a program to correcting the dietary habits that might have caused the onset of this disease, and that's with hypertension or, you know, heart disease, diabetes, those, you know, high cholesterol, those kinds of things. Oftentimes, lifestyle changes will correct some of those diseases to the extent where patients will not have to be on medications for the rest of their lives. And if we can start the process of educating them here with nutritional counseling, then this will be helpful to the patient.
A second phase of the Well Woman Center will expand to include osteoporosis, domestic violence, mental health, and substance abuse. Current screening programs have been very successful, but the health department says many of its target patients have a lack of access to health care and a higher risk for disease and a need for expanded screening services.
Again, and I have to emphasize that the age group we're working with, many of the women do not have insurance, or they do not have clinics or physicians that they go to on a regular basis. And even if you did have a physician, they don't always do all those kinds of tests that you need in a given year, or whatever the recommendation might be, to satisfy you in terms of finding out whether or not you are at risk of some of these diseases.
While the program is a part of the Milwaukee Health Department, it is funded by a state grant, so open to any Wisconsin woman who qualifies.
It's open to all women in the state of Wisconsin. Yes, the program is under the umbrella of the City Health Department, but as you said, we have a grant, and it's a part of the initiative, the Women's Health Initiative that the governor had mentioned a couple of years ago. It is now called the Well Women's, not the Women's Health Initiative program. And of course, all women in the state of Wisconsin are allowed to receive services from the program.
The Well Women's Center will be using the same aggressive outreach plan that has worked for the breast and cervical cancer awareness program. The health department hopes that by encouraging women to take part and by providing early diagnosis and treatment, it can help those who are uninsured and underinsured live longer and healthier lives. There are about 400 daily flights at Mitchell International Airport. 2 of its 5 runways are used regularly by large air carrier aircraft. The resulting noise doesn't bother some, but is a major nuisance to others.
Well, in the early 1980s, as the airport got busier and busier, we started seeing a lot more flights come in, more passengers started using the airport. And of course, airplanes have gotten bigger, and we realized that noise was a genuine concern and a real problem for people around the airport.
In 1989, Milwaukee County officials authorized a formal noise compatibility study to look at ways to lessen the impact of noise on airport neighbors, a program later adopted by the FAA.
And this is a voluntary program. It always has been. But we recognize that airport noise was a significant source of annoyance to airport neighbors, and we decided to go ahead and participate in this Part 150 process.
The process included development of noise exposure maps, red indicating the areas most impacted, blue the second worst, and green the lowest of the decibel levels in the study. A firm experienced in noise mitigation oversight was hired in 1994.
Our purpose is to come in and assist the airport in being a good neighbor to homeowners by offering these homeowners some relief from the noise.
Relief comes in the form of a 3-step homeowners protection program. The first involved buying 56 homes in the area most affected by noise. Nearly all have been demolished. These now plans will only be available for uses compatible with the airport. Phase 1, noise mitigation, the second and most time-consuming of the 3 stages, began in 1996 and will continue for 4 to 5 more years. 1,600 homes are eligible for either sound insulation, payment for air rights, or sales assistance to protect their market value when selling.
The sound insulation process offers the homeowners complete total replacement of their windows with acoustical windows. We'll replace their primary doors with acoustical primary doors and acoustical storm doors. They'll take a look at the insulation in the attic to determine if it's adequate. If it's not, they will add it up to 12 inches. The sound insulation option is the most popular option that we just talked about, obviously because it is the greatest benefit. The second option is the avigation easement purchase, which offers homeowners a $2,500 one-time payment in exchange for what we call an avigation easement. It's the right that they give the airport to have planes fly directly over their home. The third option is the sales assistance option, and this offers homeowners some additional compensation for the sale of their home.
The more than $50 million project, which also includes several schools and nursing homes, is funded through federal and state dollars, fees paid by airport users to the county, and a $3 tax on airline tickets. Land use planning is another part of the program, and pilots, airlines, and aircraft manufacturers are also part of the process.
We ask the pilots to go straight out in some instances before they start turning, because turning creates more noise. In some cases, we ask pilots to take the planes to specific locations on the airfield before they run up their engines, because that also is a way to mitigate the noise. Congress passed a law that said that airlines have to have quieter engines on their planes. They either have to get new airplanes or they have to re-engine their aircraft by the year 2000.
Over 150 homes have been insulated. Several hundred more, depending on the availability of funding, are to be insulated in the next year. Phase 2 of the noise mitigation program will involve another 2,000 dwellings. They will be eligible for sales assistance and easement purchases, but not sound insulation.
We actually identify the homeowners. So what we do is we decide on the next group that we're going to be working with. We will contact them, invite them to attend a public information workshop. We will go through all of the program options with them. We will answer their questions. They then come in for an interview, and they will make their selection, and we will start them on the road to implementing whatever procedure, whatever option they have chosen.
So by the time we're finished with that third tier out, that's probably another 8 or 9 years down the road. At that point, then we would come back and test again. We would reassess and see where we are and make sure that we had gotten everyone included.
If you have any questions about the ongoing airport homeowners protection program, you can call Terrell, Hundley, and Carroll at 769-1768. Officials believe that by mitigating the noise, they can help ensure the long-term success of the airport and maintain property values for those homeowners around the airport. Milwaukee's parking checkers began using the ticket writing computers for parking violations in May. That made it easier for the city to issue tickets and more difficult for motorists to avoid paying for them. Officials say the system is working well.
We're real happy about the performance. The big thing, of course, is that no longer do they have to handwrite these tickets, and no longer does somebody have to key punch every bit of information. As soon as they bring the handheld ticket writer back to the police district, they plug it into a computer, the information is automatically downloaded, and the information is live and on the system for everybody to see.
The police department writes about 1 million parking, traffic, and municipal violations a year. Until 7 years ago, police were also responsible for collecting fines and the paperwork that went with it. City officials felt that took officers away from more important police matters and hired a private contractor to do the job. The responsibility now rests with professional account management.
The processing of parking citations with the addition of the new handheld computers to write tickets and automatically load them to databases. The new database technology are things that have been pioneered by private industries that do parking ticket and other ticket processing. I think they bring more efficiencies to the table and make for a smoother operation. The first thing you see when you come into our office is our data entry area. A full 20% of the parking tickets are still handwritten. Also, all the traffic tickets that are issued by the police department and all the municipal citations are handwritten. Those tickets need to be data entered into the database. That happens in our data entry area. Another key part of our operation here is what we call our lockbox operation. That's where all the payments that are mailed in or dropped off at the drop boxes come into. Those are picked up every morning, brought into our lockbox operation. Then you'll see our customer service area where we have our telephone group, our customer service operators. Those are the people that answer our general line, the number that's on the ticket, 344-0840. If a person has received a ticket and they have questions about how to pay the ticket, where to pay the ticket, why they got the ticket, what the violation was for, they want to dispute the ticket, maybe they parked at a parking meter and the meter was inoperable and they want to bring that to the city's attention. Any kinds of questions like those, they call our number, those calls come into our customer service area. And if the person shouldn't have got the ticket, and we can research that and verify it according to the guidelines that are set down for us by the city attorney and the city, then we can release that ticket. All right? If we can't, if we research it and we find out that according to the guidelines we can't release it, the person has the option of deciding to pay the ticket or going to see the city attorney themselves and carrying the dispute one step further.
The operation includes making paying for those tickets as easy as possible. Put the payment in the mail, a drop box at City Hall or any district police station. Or you can stop in at one of three locations: 2980 South Chase Avenue, 6223 North Titonia, and room 204J at the Police Administration Building.
Those centers take payment by check, cash, money order, or credit card, MasterCharge or Visa. Also, if the citizen wants to pay using their credit card by phone, they can call the number on the citation, which comes into our customer service area here, and we will take their credit card payment over the phone.
Professional account management is paid a commission on tickets processed. There are no property tax dollars involved. And the firm is also providing jobs for city residents.
Every one of the data entry clerks, lockbox employees, customer service employees, our supervisory staff in this office are residents of the city of Milwaukee. We have hired several people under the Residence Preference Program. We have hired several people through the YWCA program, YWorks, in conjunction with W2. We've got some excellent people working here. That's what makes this place go, is the people that work here.
Our current contractor, I think, is providing a lot of features. For example, the handheld ticket writers, more aggressive collection efforts, and moving the whole ticket processing activity to state-of-the-art technology. It's been a real plus, I think, for the city to do it this way.
Coming soon, another feature designed to encourage payment. The handheld computers will contain information on vehicles that have 5 or more outstanding tickets. Any new ticket will result in an immediate order for towing and a much greater expense. With a desire and the ability to commit a crime, a criminal needs an opportunity. As individuals, we can limit that opportunity.
You take crime prevention, preventive measures, and if you do that, a lot of times criminals will see that it's not going to be an easy job, and they may move on to the next person or to someone else that doesn't take some sort of crime prevention measures.
Crime prevention measures that are part of the Block Watch program can be a low-cost security system for a neighborhood. It works through the care and concern of neighbors who will phone police to report suspected crimes and suspicious people.
Anything that you feel is suspicious. If you see a person that's in the area that you've never saw in the area before, and he appears as though he's looking into cars or he's looking into windows, he's walking between the gangway, anything that you feel may be suspicious, call us. But you don't lose anything by calling. You have everything to gain because you can prevent yourself or your neighbors from becoming victims of a crime.
Burglary remains a major problem. An open garage door is an open invitation to steal. Keep the door closed and locked. A criminal needs a convenient way to enter and exit your home. What you want to do is delay and deter that activity while preserving your ability to make a safe emergency escape.
One of the best ways for protecting windows of any residential unit is to pin them. What we commonly recommend to people is that they use 16-penny duplex nails, at least 3 inches long. And you simply drill a hole through the inner window, all the way through and halfway through the outside window. Then the nail, or the pin, goes into place there. You do that in one corner, and then go over and do it in the other corner. Now it takes over 300 foot-pounds of pressure in order for somebody to put a pry bar underneath there and be able to bend those nails to open that window without breaking the glass. Is it possible that it could break the glass? Yes, but it's highly unlikely because even this amount of glass is going to make a lot of noise and possibly alert the neighbors. For basement windows, we've been recommending for years a very inexpensive way of protecting it is to use conduit. And now you have this as a barrier to keep anybody from breaking out this glass area and crawling through to the end of the house. Going back to that double hung window, these locks, although they may be attractive, even though you can find some that come with a lock on them, the screws holding this lock in place are not adequate enough. If someone did put a pry bar in there, they'd peel that lock off and that window be open in no time flat. Every exterior door should have a good solid deadbolt lock as a backup to possibly only a key and a knob lock. Key and the knob locks are okay to look at, but they don't provide anything as far as protection is concerned. When you get a deadbolt lock, make sure that the bolt is going to extend more than an inch from the edge of the door to make up for the airspace that'll be created when the door is closed between the edge of the door and the door frame. That bolt should extend beyond that airspace. That deadbolt lock should be in place to back up the simple security that you get with a key and a knob lock.
Getting out the message that crime prevention begins with you takes many forms. You may have found one of these notices on your windshield. Reminder that property left in an auto increases the chances of a break-in. Remove it or lock it in the trunk. The car itself is often a target. Keep the doors locked, windows rolled up while driving or parking. Don't pick up hitchhikers. Park in well-lighted areas. Lock your steering wheel.
You want to make it hard or difficult for this person to steal your car. The club is probably the most economical way to prevent someone from stealing your car. Also, alarms are good ideas because a lot of times thieves walk by and they may see the flashing red light, and that might be a preventive measure. They may move to the next car that doesn't have the club or doesn't have the alarm.
Lock and register bicycles. Most that are stolen can't be returned because police can't identify the owner. Anytime you're out in public, be aware of your surroundings. Be alert. Act confident.
You want to notice if there's someone following you. You want to notice if you feel as though someone's watching you. You want to make sure that if you're a female, that you're carrying your purse close to your body. Don't look as though that you don't know where you are. You want to look confident. You want to feel that everyone that's looking at you know that you know exactly where you're going and what it is that you're doing. Don't advertise yourself as here I am, I'm a victim, come and get me.
Crime prevention officers are available to help in organizing a neighborhood block watch or speaking on many more crime prevention topics than we've discussed in this program. We can't have police officers in every block, so every citizen has to bear some responsibility for security measures for our homes and ourselves.